not really surprising, is it, that there's been a lot of protests and rallies lately? The first one for Colchester took place on the 20th of September, the Stop the Boats protest. This protest took place just a week after the London rally, which drew massive crowds. First of all, I just want to show a clip of a gentleman speaking at the event on the 13th of September. It just shows how people are feeling right now. So many people agree with him.
Never been to a demo before, and I just think I'm doing this for my kids.
Yeah, you're about like the 10th person who's told me the same thing about it's their first time coming. What's made people come out there? What's kind of been the trigger?
I think people are just getting tired of the whole situation. The government is... They know what people want and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And they need to stop the boats. They need to stop imprisoning people for expressing an opinion.
Some people are trying to stir up fear, but we're not falling for it now, are we? Now here's a bit about what happened in Colchester on the 20th of September, starting with the speech made by James.
Oh, it's brilliant to see so many people out today to stand against this core issue that is plaguing Britain. Absolutely destroying our communities, our culture, our heritage and our language, our society. This is a great society that we've built. Now, it's been quite an eventful afternoon. I found out when I turned up that the police, despite having no grounds to do this, has put a Section 12 and Section 14 in place. What this means is that you have been given a designated protest area. If you do not protest inside this area, if you do not protest at the specified times, you will be arrested. And they say we live in a free country. We don't. Now you can understand in an area like Epping, where they've allegedly, people have kicked off with police. They've got historic evidence of that. But in Colchester, you haven't. They have no grounds to. Do you know what the officer told me? The officer told me that this is to keep you all safe from the lefties.
He didn't tell me that.
To keep you safe, to stop it from kicking off.
We don't need safety from them.
We've been doing this years, and we never kick off with the lefties. Never. We are the peaceful side.
And here is what Alison had to say.
Did you know that England is the only country in Europe that doesn't have its own parliament? In fact, the British government doesn't even have a single party in parliament to represent England. Does a party exist? Yes, it does. The English Constitutional Party. I've seen the signs carried by fellow concerned citizens, the ones that have been put in the box called the left. And one of these signs reads, "Don't blame the boats, blame the billionaires." Well, we do blame the billionaires. Now the question is, why is the British government allowing all these men into the country? Well, we now know that digital IDs are being used as a solution to the problem that they created. Brick card, championed by Tony Blair. Says it all. We all must say no to being governed by digital IDs. Attend the rally in central London on the 18th of October, or protest locally. People, do not forget, we are governed by consent.
This is a little bit of what Dave from Wethersfield had to say.
We've been pushing the Home Office for answers. Are they doing their job properly at Manston? There's a government report out in May that highlighted they don't even interview everybody. They don't even take mobile phones or SIM cards. They haven't got the power. Now, believe you me, there's cameras around here. I'm sure the police are going to run our images against the Police National Database and of databases of people of interest.
Enough times anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what? At Manston, they don't even have access to the Police National Database.
Then there was the march. Here's a few little clips.
You guys learn us through this?
Free speech?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it sometimes, but free speech.
We appreciate you guys.
Stop the boats! Stop the boats! Stop the
Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker.
Save our nation! Save our nation! Save our nation! Save our nation! You can never trust a lefty with your kids. You can never trust a lefty with your kids. You can never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty with your kids. Stop their boats. Stop their boats. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home.
Although we can't show it in the clips, there is a lot of good support from bystanders during the march, and after the march there were a couple more speeches.
Let me give you two important statistics. I don't want to send you off to sleep with a load of numbers, but I'll give you an idea. In Sweden, they did some research into refugees who have been granted asylum because they were fleeing war or persecution. They found that after 5 years, 79% had gone home on vacation or holiday of some type. These people are not refugees, these are chancers, these are economic migrants who are actually completely taking the mickey out of our goodwill, and I really do resent them. By the way, they have broken every single law to get here. It is not wrong to call them illegal migrants. Under the British Immigration Asylum Act 1971, anybody who enters this country without the correct documentation is considered to be an illegal migrant that should be ready to be deported back home. And one of the things that's always thrown back at us, Britain was the designer of the 1951 Refugee Convention. There's a concept called non-refoulement, whereby you can't send somebody back if they're facing persecution or torture or harm in any way. But under maritime law and the 1951 Refugee Convention, you can actually deport anybody who has arrived here from France, because France obviously isn't an oppressive state. No, the government is taking us for fools. They're absolutely. We have every single right to send every one of those people in Wethersfield migrant camp home tomorrow morning. No mucking about. If they need a Royal Navy escort, so be it. Also, as well, I think the other thing I wanted to talk about was the crime that many of these people are committing over here. I'm sure we will be following the case of Epping, where one of them was found guilty of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. The Migration Control Organisation has found that Afghans are 22 times more likely to be convicted of rape and other violent offences than compared to a native British person. No, well done everybody. We are making history. And from what I can work out politically as a political journalist, the government has given up calling us far-right gammon, racists and Nazis. We don't care anymore, and racists of course. They've given up now, and we face them off, and it is now up to any future government, any future election, for us to vote in a party that is actually genuinely going to do something about legal and illegal immigration.
Hello, I'm Colchester Mum. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I've got 2 accounts, follow me on both. The main one is Coach Mum OG. I wanted to speak today for a number of reasons. I'm not probably the sort of typical, what people might call a flag shugger. This is the nearest I get. And if anyone wants to know what this is, it's a woman, life, freedom, and it's about the women in Iran and the way that they're treated. Absolutely. If anybody is not paying attention, look at what's happening to women in Afghanistan. It's a human rights crisis. Okay, yes. So my North Star is violence against women and girls, and and men who go after women like me are going after women like me because women look after the children. Okay, I've already been targeted for arrest by some of the people that we saw on the counter protest down there. They are the people, so they sent Essex police around my house to search my house for stickers, etc, etc. If you look on Twitter, you'll see it all. And that's because of my views on violence against women and girls, child safeguarding and upholding UK law. So I've had various charities after me, Mercury Theatres one, Outhouse Essex is another, the local domestic violence charity Next Chapter is another. They've all called my views hate. So I just wanted to say something about me. So I'm from a very poor working class background in Blackburn. And if anybody wants to know what 50 years of Islamicisation looks like in Blackburn, just come and talk to me afterwards. I can talk to you about it all day. But just let me give you one example. Gay bashing is back. Okay, so there's a gay hairdresser was beaten to a pulp by a gang. These are the kind of things that the counter-protesters down there will never see because they don't ever mix with working class communities. So I'm very privileged. I've worked my way up from a place where there was lots of violence and poverty to a very, very privileged position now. So I now live in a big house, my children are very privileged, and I've had a very senior role in the social housing, Colchester Borough's homes here for a few years, and I worked with all those people. I walked past them, I saw the horror on their face when they recognised someone in that, and I know how they think. They look around at working class people and they think you are the scum of the earth, the shit under their shoes, and that's how they think. My North Star is violence against women and girls. Their North Star is hostility towards the Tories and towards working class people. This is how they think. And I wonder how many, what they would think if they knew that Braintree District Council refused the Wethersfield site and it was the Tories that overturned it. I don't think many of them would know that. Would they change their mind if they knew that? So now we've got 1,200 men in there, in Finchleyfield, which has a population of 700. So these men are bussed into Colchester, Braintree and Chelmsford every day to wander around. They were dropping them off in the town centre, but for reasons of optics, I believe, they're now dropping them off in a residential area next to a primary school and nearer to the garrison. It happens to be at the end of my street, so my teenage daughter, who goes to a very lovely school, has to walk past them all day, every day. And I'd love to have the advice of those counter-protesters down there to what I should tell my daughter when she's going past there, because I do pay attention on social media. Those people live in a low information bubble where they don't know, and if they so these are people who have nothing to say about racially motivated mass sexual violence against girls in working class communities. So I won't be taking any lessons on them on racism or bigotry. Thank you very much. And And I would just like to say that our MP, Labour MP Pam Cox, voted for this to be a city of sanctuary. We weren't asked, we weren't told what that meant, but we're all finding out now. And so basically I just think if your North Star is keeping women and children safe, that tells you which side is right and which side is wrong, and that's all you need to know.
Thank you. That's it, unless anybody else wants to say something. She's one of the opposition. Go ahead. You want to say again?
Reported to the police for domestic abuse, like you white guys.
Right, can I respond to the point? Let me respond to the point. So, what she said was, and this is important.
We're the rapists, we're supporting the rapists.
Let's have a listen. I just want to say, I'm a child abuse survivor. My abuser was white. We don't need more of them.
No, we don't. You're saying...
Let me respond to this point.
Illegal, no.
Do you want to respond? She won't let me respond. See?
Have you got proof of that?
Right.
That's a big claim.
Let's respond to that point, because this is something the left-wing organisations bring up all the time. And I was arrested for talking about this, by the way. This is what I was arrested for talking about. They say that white people rape as well. And that is true. White people do rape as well. We do have an issue in this country with white people committing rape. But guess what? It's a white country. This country is 80% white. You are going to have more white abusers in this country. However, when you look at it in proportion, the statistics tell us that foreigners are 3 times more likely to get arrested for sexual assault. 3 times more likely than a white British person. If we have an issue in this country with white people committing rape, do we need to import more of the same? The answer is no. Now, I was arrested and charged for saying that, by the way. Arrested and charged. They don't like it. And that woman there came over to debate, and yet she didn't let anyone else get their points across, right? We don't need more of the same in this country. If we have an issue with white people committing rape, with familial child abuse, we don't need to import more of it. These people who are coming over, we don't know who they are. We don't know where they come from. And they are sexually abusing our daughters. And women. So...
The protests were actually reported in the Colchester Gazette, the none-in, all-out protest, and the counter-protest, which was classed as an anti-racism protest. Calling somebody a racist doesn't actually make them a racist, does it? The Green Councillor, Amy Kirkby-Taylor, said that she joined the anti-racism demonstration to support the refugees. She also went on to say that there is no such thing as an illegal asylum seeker. It would appear that Pam Cox, the Labour MP for Colchester, who recently quit her position as a councillor, was also in attendance. Apparently, she was unclear why the Colchester protest, which she called anti-immigration protest, was being held in the city. She also mentioned mutual respect. That is definitely lacking. Wait till you see one of the banners held in the London protest. Colchester Mum, in her speech, mentioned that Pam Cox had voted as Colchester being a city of sanctuary. So what is City of Sanctuary all about, and who is behind it? We covered Quangos recently. Is this another one? Their website shows that they're building a movement all across the UK involving community groups, councils, schools, libraries, and the website also shows their funders. Lots of money behind them. There is the AB Charitable Trust, the Tudor Trust, Paul Hamlin Foundation, City Bridge Trust, Gale Charitable Trust, Postcode Community Trust, Esme Fairburn Foundation, Lloyds Bank Foundation, and Unbound. This states that Unbound Philanthropy are one of Hope Not Hate Charitable Trust's main funders. So there's definitely a lot of money and energy going into this societal change, isn't there? Now let's have a look at what happened in London on the 13th of September. The London demo was about uniting the kingdom, but Colchester Trades Council arranged coach pickups at Clacton and Colchester for people to get £10 tickets to go to London to say no to racism, say no to fascism, say refugees welcome, march for unity, dignity and human rights for all. What was it Pam Cox MP said? Something about mutual respect. Do you think this showed mutual respect? Who would have designed, paid for and manufactured this disgusting banner? Even with their disgusting banner, the small Antifa mob did not manage to spoil the day for the hundreds of thousands of patriots that attended. Although the press stated that around 110,000 people attended the Unite the Kingdom rally, there were so many more than that. I know many people who travelled from Colchester who couldn't get anywhere near the main event. The bridges and the roads were blocked, and although they could not get anywhere near the main event, they said that it did not spoil the day because the atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. Here are some clips of the live streams that were taken during the day. It includes some interviews with some of the people who attended.
What's happening?
Yeah, good man. Yeah.
How's the aiming so far?
Yeah, good. Yeah. We're just talking to this police officer. He's actually quite well mannered to talk back to us. Yeah. Reasonable as well. Give us an unbiased opinion.
Yeah. How do you feel about the kind of counter protesters being here? The message open borders,
Yeah, it's we know that this typical group, you know what I mean. They attend all these and they seem to just say the same thing and yeah, we don't agree with them at all. You know, we think that, to be fair, they've just been a subject to the Marxist system and been indoctrinated by the education system, really, all the way from school up to universities now. So, but end of the day, like I was saying here to this officer, it's an information war. We need to talk, spread the message, and reasonably.
Sure, but they're coming in face masks. I don't think they can talk if they wanted to. They've got their...
No, they never seem to. It seems to be chants, masked up. They never want to communicate in a reasonable debate, It's the same old every time. They're just unreasonable people.
I saw protests over summer. Have you been protesting outside hotels in your area?
Yeah, we've got a big one in Wakefield near us. It's been every Saturday, so yeah.
And what's the turn-up been like? What are people saying over there?
Yeah, really good. I mean, a lot of the Northerners are very patriotic because there's a lot of people came down today on the train. The train was full of them.
How important is it to fly the colours now?
Absolutely essential. Yeah. More essential than ever before.
Why is that?
Because we're under attack.
Is it racist to fly the flag these days?
Definitely not. It's proud to be British, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're proud to be British and where we're from, and we're proud of our country. Yeah. That's why we fly the flag. Yeah, it's nothing to do with race or anything like that.
Yes, Pat's here. We have the beach ball. The beach ball is out. What's the message for Starmer today?
Wanker!
Yeah.
Listen, I've never been to anything in my life like this. Same as my fellas here. We're here for the corrupt politician to say that we are not taking any more shit from you. You're anti-British. You don't care about us. We're here for our kids, our family. If it carries on the way it's carrying on, this country will be unrecognisable in 30 years. In 30 years, this country needs to wake up before it's too late. Now, let's take our country back. Let's take our country back in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
Peaceful way. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I've spoken to a lot of people today, and they said it's their first time as well. Why do you think a lot of people are coming out, but it's their first time coming? I've heard this a lot today. Why is that?
Like I say, I think everyone's fed out of their politicians. They don't represent England anymore. They're here for anyone else but England, right? They know the English people pay the way. If it weren't for us, the country would not be standing. And they try to tell us and brainwash us the country's built from foreigners and immigration. The country was built from British people, our ancestors. Our ancestors built this country through thick and thin, blood, sweat and tears. That's why we're here today. It's not a racist march. Without The tradition of English now is curry. We all have a curry, right? All of us. That's what we have. We have a few beers and a curry, right? We're not racist. We're not racist one bit. We need it to be controlled. People need to take control, put the British people first and what their concerns are. Without that, you know...
Never trust a lefty with your kids!
How important is it to bring Christianity back to England?
Like one page at a time, we're going to come back, you know what I'm saying, my man? We got this. And then we're all here for this guy, we're all here for the boy upstairs, so that's what it's all about, you know what I'm saying?
Hey mate, where have you travelled from today? Stockport, yeah. Up north, I see a lot of migrant hotels, especially in places like Altrincham. What are people saying over there?
Oh, it's really bad. It was only the other week, on Wednesday, one of them got a girl at the park, disgusting. I've come here for my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah.
It's important.
You think that's the future? We're going to have these like enclaves of just migrant areas?
It's like Leicester's like that now.
Yeah.
You've got white areas, there is enclaves everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, each individual race are in their own areas.
Yeah.
They don't really mix.
Yeah, so do you think multiculturalism is working in general?
It's a joke, ain't it? And it always was a joke. It was an experiment that's gone wrong. And now they can't deny that it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
They have to just carry on till they destroy it.
Right.
They won't admit that they were wrong.
So guys, everyone will talk to you from different parts of the UK. They'll tell you about their towns and cities that have been overrun by mass migration. You'll hear it a lot. And but yeah, you'll also hear a lot of people having a good day out, celebrating English culture in general. But it is heaving. It's starting to get busier, as you can see.
Never been to a demo before, and I just think I'm doing this for my kids.
Yeah, you're about like the 10th person who's told me the same thing about it's their first time coming. What's made people come out there? What's kind of been the trigger?
I think people are just getting tired of the whole situation. The government they know what people want, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And they need to stop the boats. They need to stop imprisoning people for expressing an opinion.
So guys, you see the Antifa crowds. They're covered in black, head to toe, face masks on, umbrellas for days here. All got their sunglasses on. A lot of people just got hit there by the batons. An old man there. I don't know what to say. Oh, he's whacking everything.
Get his number! Get his number!
Wow.
Get his number! Get his number!
Get back.
Get his number! Get his number! Scumbag!
Oh, look at this, guys, all having a little party.
What's happening is not just happening in England, it's all around the world.
We are gathered here today with one clear and resounding message, and we are going to make that message absolutely unforgettable. Our single unifying message today is to tell the Australian government to stop mass immigration.
And what organization are you part of? Are you part of Antifa?
Yeah, Antifa.
The streets of Paris are literally on fire. Police have moved in. Today I'm here in France. Right now we have hundreds of thousands of people set to hit the streets of Paris all across France today. There's said to be around 800,000 protesters. You see the cops right here in all of their riot gear. They have gas masks, their riot shields, everything else you would need to fight against the protesters. Today is set to be a day of chaos. Paris is erupting and the whole entire world's gone mad. We've had protests in Nepal, in Britain, and in the United States. You had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Everywhere across the world, people are upset, and out here in Paris, they're showing up in the masses.
Finish, I just want to show a bit of UK Columns edition from the 22nd of September. Everything is connected.
This is more manipulation of politics, isn't it? And you've come in on the topic of mind control, which is the government's main agenda, it appears, at the moment.
It certainly is, yes. Well, I think that's what government is, isn't it? If we just flag this up, government, what does that mean? Mind control. That's what it's all about. Mind control, government. What are they up to? What are they planning next? There is no better place to go to find that out than Policy Live, which happened 10 days ago, week before last, and it's powered by Nesta and the Behavioural Insights team. Nesta, the UK's social innovation agency, who are manipulating the social fabric, and the Behavioural Insights team, aka the Nudge Unit, who are manipulating our minds. Before I get into this, I'm just going to draw your attention to this organisation as well as a sidebar, but I'm going to come back to these lot over the coming weeks. This is Flint Global, which is a strategic consulting business which advises international businesses and investors on policy, politics, regulation and competition. So very expensive, polished advice from people with very privileged positions in the establishment, not least the co-founders. So first of all, this guy, this is Sir Simon Fraser, who, as well as being a co-founder of Flint, spent a long time in the Foreign Office. He was the head of the UK Foreign Office and Diplomatic Service. So he ran the whole embassy network for the British government. And he's also now currently the chair of Chatham House. Yeah, so he has a dual role here, making a lot of money with Flint while also enormously influencing policy at Chatham House. And then more pertinent to today's presentation, Ed Richards, who is also a co-founder of Flint, whilst being chair at Nesta and the Behavioural Insights team. So between these two, that is an extraordinary amount of influence coalesced into one place, one organisation. You've got the kind of blue-blooded establishment of Chatham House and the neoliberal progressives of the Behavioural Insights team. It's here now from Ed Richards, chair of Nesta and the Behavioural Insights team, talking about the challenges facing the political classes in the UK in 2025.
Firstly, there is a frustration in the country that we can't somehow quite agree how to tackle the important problems of the age. That is partly a problem of the polarised politics of the age, but it is certainly a problem. The second would be that there seems to me to be a widespread concern that somehow some challenges are now almost insoluble, that they're just almost too difficult for us to solve. The third would be a concern, a worry that somehow government itself can't effect change in the way that it once could. It seems to find it harder and harder to address some of the complex challenges that we face. And fourthly, that the state itself, the state writ large, struggles to implement quickly and efficiently policy, even when policy objectives are in fact agreed and clear. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday in France, and she said to me that France is in fact now almost ungovernable. And it reminded me for a moment of the debates in the 70s about the UK being ungovernable. Some of you will remember them. I don't think you could say that about the UK, not with a government with such a clear and strong majority. But there is a concern, I think, about the degree to which government can govern in a way that meets the challenges of our age.
So anyway, they're going to try though, right? So they're going to try and govern us, and we'll have a little look at some of the ways in which they're going to do that. Up on stage next, we had this crowd. Heather Stewart on the left there, economics editor of The Guardian. David Halpin, very familiar to regular viewers of UK Column, the guy that started the Nudge Unit for David Cameron back in 2010. Polly Curtis from Demos. Interesting to see Demos in Sandy's segment there again. We're going to have to come back to that in extra. And then this chap up on the right-hand side there, that's Antonio Silva from Nesta. And he's there to talk about something called social capital, right? And essentially what they're doing here is saying, well, if the government can't fix things, which is what Ed Richards just said, then maybe society can fix things, but we've still got to justify our existence in our fancy office in central London with our well-paid jobs. So let's run this big survey to go and see if we can understand the UK society from an anthropological perspective. And this is all done in the context of essentially cultural Marxism. So he talks about these three forms of capital: economic capital, what you have; human capital, what you know; and social capital, this new thing they're introducing, which is all about who you know, and looking at social networks. And his kick-off point there on the left-hand side, you can see is Das Kapital by Marx, right? So these are Marxists in London developing government policy,
with huge amounts of money.
Huge amounts of money. I mean, we're talking, I think Nesta's got in the region of £500 million in its endowment. It's hugely wealthy, extravagant office right next to JP Morgan's office on the Embankment in central London. And this is what they spend their time doing, right? And what do they run? They run a national study to look at 6 billion friendships in the UK. Now look at this, social capital, reading from the top lines. They looked at social networks of 58% of the UK population. So it's 20.5 million anonymised Facebook users.
Well, were they?
Well, I mean, Facebook has been quite public about the fact that it doesn't know what it does with your data. They didn't build that platform for privacy, and they're allowing, this is a formal partnership with Facebook, by the way, I'll come on to that in a minute, they're allowing this organisation access to 20 million user profiles to look at relationships between all these different people, focusing on what they call economic connectedness. So looking at high-income friends that low-income people have. So they're trying to understand the connections between different strata in society. They're also looking at things like social mobility, which comes from a different data set. And then they ran a survey looking at well-being, which is about satisfaction, life satisfaction, how much people trust each other. That comes from a separate survey. And actually, it was quite entertaining because he was rather disappointed that actually in the UK, friendships do bridge economic divides. Significantly more so than in other countries, which I don't think is what he was expecting to find out. There's enormous diversity in the population. The class divide is actually much less entrenched than people think. People from the lower levels of society have lots of friends in the upper levels of society, or certainly the higher earning levels of society, I think we should probably say. And the entertaining thing for me about this is what you get with these studies is that it's all done on data. And they never actually say, we went out and spoke to some people.
Yes,
it's all spreadsheet based, basically. And given the fact that they haven't found an issue with the class divide, I think they kind of got down to business and really opened up what this was all about when they started to talk about immigration. Let's have a little listen to this.
Is this also part of the recipe for dealing with absorbing quite large-scale immigration in the way that we've had, and forming more cohesive groups, or not dividing, or dealing with some of the issues that Polly was sort of gesturing at there? That is this part of the recipe for forming closer connections, whatever your background, whatever your...
It has been historically. There's another commission, there's several running at the moment, but one on community and cohesion, which is looking at some of those issues more broadly. And it took its first evidence session, and I would say it was a fantastic presentation of somebody, a reasonably well-known figure, but who grew up in the East End or whatever. But it was contrasting about how, you look back at his father's generation or whatever. If you're in East End, it was a melting pot for lots of reasons. As he rather elegantly put it, we all learn a bit of Yiddish and we smoke a bit of pot, and it's like you can see it happening. But then in contrast, what also happened in a lot of those periods, if you go back 2-3 generations, you get a lot of areas which are actually white only in other parts of the country, and actually they're the ones that are really most worried normally about immigration, where you don't see those populations. So it's not just a sort of contact hypothesis writ large, but it looks a lot like it, right?
So what do you think? Some challenges are too difficult to solve, so they think. And government, with such a strong and clear majority, how many didn't vote for them? Was it around 75% of the population? I think there's a little meeting going on in Liverpool at the moment, but I won't bother covering that one. I will post all the links below for the videos that I've included. But as usual, please let us have your thoughts and comments below. Thank you.